You asked a really good question, one that's actually age-old. How do you discipline a 1-year-old? Because it's so hard when they don't really have the developmental skills to understand everything that you're telling them, but they're asserting their independence and getting into things they shouldn't, and they like to throw tantrums. So it can be difficult. I have one myself, and I hope that the tips I give you will also be helpful to me. One of the best things you can do for your child is to let them learn consequences naturally. Of course, this applies to situations that won't harm them. For example, we all know that toddlers like to play a game where they throw things off their high chair. And what's our instinct? To pick it up, right? Say that your child's throwing cookies off their high chair. And if we just give them more, then they're never going to learn that that's bad behavior. But if we just don't give them any more cookies, and once they're all on the floor, they're on the floor and gone, your child will quickly learn that in order to have cookies, they can't throw them. This applies to maybe breaking a toy too. If your child is rough with toys and you keep replacing them and not really doing anything to let them know the behavior is not okay, then they will just keep being destructive. And so you've got to break into that cycle and not give them more toys when they break them, and just when they're broken, they're gone. There's also logical consequences. And again, this is better applied once your child gets a little bit older, but it doesn't hurt to start younger, because at one point they will start to understand more than you think. So let's say that your child doesn't want to pick up their toys. You start to say, if you don't pick up your toys, then you can't play with them for the rest of the afternoon, and you can take them away if they choose to throw a tantrum about it. And they'll quickly learn that that behavior does not get them what they want. You may find yourself in situations where withholding privileges or items is helpful. For example, especially as your child gets older, they may have a favorite toy, and if you take that away as a consequence for certain behaviors, then they'll start to learn that that behavior is not okay, and they'll do it because they want the toy back. But obviously don't withhold things that the child needs, like meals and those sorts of things. You can also start implementing timeout between the ages of 1 and 2, but it's usually best received between 2 and 5. But again, it doesn't mean you can't start trying it. Pick a timeout spot, and a lot of parents feel like the room is not necessarily the best spot because they want that to be an inviting place, not a place where they're put when they're in trouble. So designate a spot in your house that's the discipline chair or whatever you want it to be. And when your child acts out, you can put them there for 1 minute if they're 1 year of age, 2 minutes if they're 2 years of age, and so on. And it's hard to keep a toddler in one spot for 1 minute, but they'll learn again that this is not something they want to do, especially because they have a short attention span. And again, hopefully it will serve as incentive to be better in the future. Above all, your attitude towards discipline is going to rub off on your child most. For example, one of the things we're tempted to do when our child freaks out is yell and scream back at them. But we can't teach them to be calm and to overcome their angers and those sorts of things when we're showing anger. So we can't fight a tantrum with a tantrum. So be firm and be consistent. Those are two important things for us to remember as parents when we're trying to discipline our kids. Good luck with everything, and I hope these tips help. If you have any other questions in the future, feel free to ask them on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Intermountain Moms, and recommend us to your friends and family too.